What is up, everybody? What up? Happy Monday to you all. This is another live edition of Steve's Kitchen here on the Around the Point Network. It is Monday, October the 28th, 2024. 3 more days until Halloween, everybody. 3 more days until Halloween. How's everybody doing out there? How's y'all weekend? Good. I can't hear you. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Share it through social media and all that fun stuff. Wherever it is that you share videos. Share. Spread the love, if you will. Spread the love. As always, I am Steve, and this week I'm riding solo today. I'm doing this dolo, but nevertheless, here we are. So, how do I put this here? Why do we break this down? My weekend overall was chilled as all hell. Outside of that, there was some UFC. There was wrestling. The Yankees lost. They're down 2-0 to the Dodgers. Today's game 3. Hopefully today, the Yankees get a win today. Let's just hope so, because they need it. No more fucking around. And on top of all that, Real Madrid goes down 4-0 against Barcelona. And today I hear that Manchester United sacked Ten Hag. He's done. Kaputski. It's over with. Put the fries in a bag, bro. You washed. It's over. Time to move on. You know, that's what basically Manchester United's officials said today to Eric Ten Hag, pretty much.
Get this bum out of here, will you? Just get this bum out of here already, huh?
So mostly all the Manchester United fans said today when they heard the news. I know they're happy as all hell. I know there's some people out there who will not put the entire blame of the downfall that Man United is going through right now on them, but that it's fine. It is what it is. But outside of that, again, a lot to get into today. A lot to get into in the world of wrestling. And also there was UFC 308, like I just mentioned moments ago. But if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and all that fun stuff. Wikipedia, he's going to NXT, and he's going to be a megastar over there. Joe Hendry will be the same. Will be the same with Jordan Grace. Now, I don't know about him going to NXT off the rip. I mean, yeah, he has appeared, but to my understanding, Joe Hendry still has like a lot of time left on his deal with TNA. I think it's a year still left on that contract. Jordan Grace is basically already 1 foot in NXT or in WWE. I think her deal is about to run up. Joe Hendry, on the other hand, it's very questionable what happened. We'll get into that too. We'll get into all that stuff. All right. So I did mention moments ago there was some wrestling going down over the weekend. There was TNA's Bound for Glory, and there was actually there was also on Sunday Halloween Havoc. I'll be honest with you guys. I know a lot of people out there were very, very como se dice, upset with what happened at Bound for Glory at the end there. And a lot of people were very disappointed at the outcome. I think a lot of people went into Bound for Glory with the belief that Joe Hendry was going to walk out of Bound for Glory, walk out of Detroit as the new TNA World Champion. He was going to defeat Nick Nemeth. And that didn't happen, did it? Did not happen at all. To all of you out there who thought that was going to happen, for all of you out there who thought Joe Hendry was going to walk out TNA World Champion, all I got to say to you guys is
congratulations.
You've been worked. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. TNA was going to TNA last Saturday. If you get what I'm saying, TNA pulled a TNA move on Joe Hendry last Saturday night. Come on, bruh. Look, I know a lot of you out there who are under the impression that at Slammiversary, He was going to win it. Didn't happen. Then there's a lot of y'all who were under the impression that, hey, Bound for Glory, it's fine. It's a one-on-one match. Going to get his win right there. Nope. TNA was like, nah. And it's a shame because when you think about it, right, Joe Hendry is arguably the top babyface right now in TNA. The most over guy in the company. And you know that whole term, right? Strike when the iron's hot. I mean, it's one of those things where, again, people went into the night expecting that big moment, right? Him with the bells and all that stuff. And instead, no, you know what they did? They overbooked the shit out of this match. You have Frankie Kazarian, who was not only the special guest referee, but earlier on the kickoff, he won the Call Your Shot Battle Royale or Gauntlet match, whatever the fuck it is. Okay. He won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. So you had the special guest referee. The special guest referee also have a guaranteed world title match whenever he chose. And there were times in the match where he was going to, basically he was going to use that right to get himself a world title match. And who happened to show up after all this stuff? JBL. John Bradshaw Layfield, man, the legend himself, decided to show up. And not only did he lay out Nick Nemeth's brother, Ryan Nemeth, who I thought was still, again, I'm not sure, is he signed to TNA or is this one of those things where AEW let TNA borrow him? But whatever the case may be, that's what happened. And then he laid out Joe Hendry, laid him out, and then he threw him into the ring. Nemeth hit the zigzag or the whatever he's calling it now, right? Whatever he's calling it now. I apologize if I'm butchering the new name, but for me, it's still the zigzag, okay? And Joe Hendry kicks out. And everyone's like, oh, maybe there is hope. It's happening. It's going to go down. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. We believe in Joe Hendry. And then 2 minutes later, nope. Zigzag, 1, 2, 3. Put it to bed. Nick Nemeth still retains. So once again, TNA basically pulled the TNA. Now, where do you go from here? I have no idea, bro. I have no idea. I think I heard someone say on social media that TNA will be live on one of these Thursdays. I could be wrong on that. Okay. There are discussions here. This is from TNA Wrestling is going to San Antonio to NXT Texas to early next year to host a live episode of Impact on Access TV. So this was during the Saturday Night Bound for Glory event. It was announced that the post TNA Genesis edition of TNA Impact on January 24th will air live from the Boeing Center in San Antonio. The event will mark the first live edition of Impact since 2015. Now, could it be that they're waiting for that date on a live episode of Impact to have Joe Hendry win the title? Wouldn't that be something? I mean, here's the thing, right? Last time I checked, Bound for Glory was TNA's WrestleMania, right? Some people will tell you it's Slammiversary. I was always under the impression it was always Slammiversary, but for some reason, they decided to, you know what? We're not going to have Joe Hendry win the title here. Maybe we'll have him win in San Antonio sometime in January. Could very well be. What can I tell you? But outside of that, look, I don't want to come on here and just completely crap on that because here's the crazy part about it too. That match was not even the main event. They advertised a triple main event. And in my mind, okay, Joe Hendry going to end the show. Everybody goes home happy. Nope. That was the co-main event. Put it that way. They were the second to last. And everybody was angry. Everybody was already miserable. Social media, everybody was in the mud, right? Venting out their frustrations. And then they put the main event that had the Hardys versus the ABC of Ace Austin, Chris Bay. By the way, speedy recovery for Chris Bay. I know he had an injury at the tapings, I think it was yesterday. Wishing him and Vikingo a speedy recovery. Also, you had the system of Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards, who are the champions, and they had a Full Metal Mayhem match, which basically was a ladder match. They had ladders involved, and there was a spot in the match where Jeff Hardy's trying to slide down, right? He's trying to slide down off a ladder, and it just did not look good at all. There was somewhere in the event, for those of you who watched the show, who watched it live, because I purchased the pay-per-view. I purchased it through Triller, aka Fight TV. And I don't know, maybe I know I'm not the only one, but somewhere during the match, the feed cut off and it ended the stream. So the stream ended somewhere during the match. And then like 4 minutes later, they basically fixed their error. Like TNA fixed their streaming error, whatever the fuck it was. The production was a little bit of a mess. I'm going to say that right now. Graphics department was also a mess because they showcased a graphic of El Hijo del Vikingo with the X Division Championship, even though he lost early in the night to Speedball Mike Bailey, which we'll get into, later, in a bit here, in a bit. But again, the main event match, honestly, it kind of underdelivered, but people went home happy. The Hardy Boys are once again the TNA World Tag Team Champions. Jeff Hardy hit a swanton bomb from the top of a ladder. Yeah, he's still doing it in 2024. I don't know why. I'm good. But nevertheless, that's what happened. People went home happy. Also during the show, Crystal Clear writes here, only 2 losses this year for Jordan Grace are Masha Slamovich and Roxanne Perez. That is very true. Thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that. But just to run down the show real quick, Mike Bailey and El Hijo del Vikingo had a very good match for 15 minutes. Somewhere in this match, Vikingo walked the ropes, and it had a good visual from the outside, like the outside move that he did. But when it's all said and done, Mike Bailey did retain, as you expect, because I don't think Vikingo has signed a deal with TNA. But who knows, right? You had Spitfire of Danny Luna and Jody Threat versus Rosemary and Wendy Chu. The match was just there, honestly. And of course, Wendy Chu did get the pin because you got to pin the NXT chick. So there was that. You had Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin, which I thought was an okay match. And the match ends by after Steve Macklin, like somewhere in the match, the referee stopped the match. Referee decision. He wasn't responding. But Josh Alexander gets the win. And Josh Alexander's been on a roll lately. I think he wrestled on the Maple Leaf Wrestling Show. He wrestled Kenosuke Takeshita. So he's been at it, bro. He's been making moves. You had PCO, which is CPZ's favorite, the self-proclaimed TNA's BMF, defending both the digital media and the international heavyweight title in a Monsters Ball match against Matt Cardona. Cool to see. When it was all said and done, though, PCO did get the W. You had Mike Santana versus Moose. The match was pretty good. Went back and forth. I'm happy to see Mike Santana get a win. I know a lot of people on social media were discussing, Mike Santana, how he is now betting on himself, how he is proving everyone wrong, which he is. And I'm happy for him. I really, really am. I do hope 2025 is his year. I won't say 2015. Bear with me, okay? But I do hope in 2025, TNA, goes all the way with him. Go all the way. If there's somebody who I could see after what we saw this past Saturday with Joe Hendry losing all that stuff, right? That ship's done. Unless they have him winning on the live episode of TNA coming up in January, which I don't. Again, at this point, it's over. It's Jover, right? But if there's someone who I would love to see be the one who have a run with the world title, is Mike Santana. I think that's the guy who you should put the belt on and let him just have a nice run, tear it up, good matches. The guy does not disappoint at all. So let's stop fucking around. Let's go with Mike Santana. All right. That's your prediction for 2025. Okay. Mike Santana will be TNA World Champion. You had Masha Slamovich versus Jordan Grace for the TNA Knockouts Championship. This was a fun match too. This was the first of the three main events. And again, just a crazy back and forth. And to no one's surprise, Masha Slamovich finally dethrones Jordan Grace. So, yeah, also factoring in Jordan Grace's deal is about to be up. And we all know she's heading to WWE. It's no secret. So, again, that was Bound for Glory as a whole. I thought the show overall was a good watch, to be honest. Then we had that whole thing at the end with Joe Hendry and the whole stuff, and people were just upset. But it goes back to what I'm saying. At the end of the day, TNA is going to TNA. Jeff Jarrett is literally proud of the booking of the world title match on Saturday night. Let me tell you that right now. There's no secret. But again, to all of you out there who literally thought that Joe Hendry was going to walk out the TNA World Champion at Bound for Glory.
Congratulations.
You've been worked. Yeah, you've been worked. Also, we did have, by the way, Cage Match gave Bound for Glory a 7.2, which is fair, I think. We did have also NXT's Halloween Havoc, which was actually yesterday. Fun little fact. I totally forgot this show was going to be at 7 p.m. because I was out on Sunday night. I went out. I was doing stuff with family. And I'm like, you know what? All right, I'll be home 8 p.m. time-ish, right? I'll watch NXT. No problem whatsoever. I'm going to watch Halloween Havoc, 8 p.m. time, right? I come back home. I go on YouTube real quick, and I see that WWE already went live with their kickoff show. I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. They already did their kickoff show? Then I go and I look in, I realized that, holy shit, the show started at 7 p.m. So I'm like, oh shit, the fuck is this? I did finish watching the entire show. Okay. Overall, it was okay. Not as good as Heat Wave, if you want my honest opinion. But overall, it was an okay watch, just not the strongest NXT PLE, in my opinion. Honestly, if you really if there's anything to go back and watch from this show, was probably the first two matches. Probably the first two matches is things that you should go back and rewatch from the show, which was obviously Obafemi versus Tony D'Angelo. And of course, go back and rewatch the women's tag team match from last night's Halloween Havoc between Stephanie Vaquer, Julia versus Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade. I thought the opening match was a very fun opening match. Got the people going, right? Obafemi is him. Simple as that. Obafemi is that dude. And Tony D'Angelo also delivered, in my opinion, last night. He fucking delivered. And one of those things where it could have, again, you wonder to yourself, right? How is this going to go down, right? The fact that, the family wasn't there until it got to a point where Tony D'Angelo was zip locked, right? The whole zip thing, right? Tied up to the turnbuckle, the lower turnbuckle, and out came the entire family. And it got to a point where Adriana Rizzo was staring Obafemi, and it looked like Obafemi was gonna, put his hands on her. And eventually, Tony D broke free. They had a ladder that was bridged from the apron to the table, and Tony just spears them. Yes, the family did help at the end, right? Obafemi got the win. My bad. Tony D'Angelo got the win, as expected. I was not surprised by that. Now, there's word going around This is coming from PWN founder. There's rumors circulating that Obafemi said his goodbyes last night at Halloween Havoc to the NXT roster. The belief is that he may be Raw bound potentially as early as tonight. Now, that's rumors going around. Honestly, let's say for all intents and purposes, that is the case. Look, is he ready to be on the main roster? Absolutely. I think Obafemi would go out there and tear it up with the likes of a Sheamus, a Seth Rollins, a Solo Sikoa down the road, right? Can you imagine Jacob Fatu versus Obafemi? I'm just saying. I think, again, Obafemi can tear it up with the very best on the main roster. However, on the same side, on the other side of the coin, the reality is it's too soon. I would love to see Obafemi get that run with the NXT Championship before he decides to make the move to either Monday nights or Friday nights. That's just me. Okay. But nevertheless, we'll see what happens. Imagine if he actually shows up tonight. I mean, maybe, just maybe, a dark match on Raw. Who knows? Who the hell knows? What's going on, Anthony? Hope all is well with you. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope all you had a good weekend. Hope you all enjoyed yourself. Hopefully your teams won. Hopefully your parlays hit. And all that fun stuff. And all that stuff here. Also on the show, like I mentioned, Julia and Stephanie Vaquer versus Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. I thought this was another fun match. A very, very good women's action here. A lot of double team moves here. This was Cora Jade's first match back since injury, and she looked good out there. She did not look bad at all. When it was all said and done, Stephanie Vaquer got the pin on the women's champion, Roxanne Perez. So likely you could do Roxanne Perez versus Stephanie Vaquer at the 2300 show, which they also mentioned is sold out per Booker T. Could not believe that Vic Joseph said tickets were still available. What? It's sold out. What are you talking about, man? It's sold out. It's sold fast as hotcakes and shit like that. You had Ridge Holland and Andre Chase in their ambulance match. I wasn't feeling this match at all. I felt like after this, the show kind of took a little bit of a downfall, in my opinion. But that's just me. Yeah, it was an ambulance match. It kind of went too long. I don't think this needed to be on TV. I'll be on the PLE. This could have been used for television. That's just my humble opinion. But it was all said and done. Ridge Holland did get the win, which in a way makes sense. So after that, you had the North American, the women's North American title gauntlet match. You had Kalani Jordan defending against all three members here of Fatal Attraction of Jasmine Nix, JC Jane, and Fallon Henley. And they basically chose they chose the gauntlet match, right? That's what they chose, because in the spin the wheel thing, right? They had to make the choice of what match they want. It was the challenger's choice, and they chose a gauntlet match. Like I mentioned, I didn't mention this earlier, but the Obafemi and Tony D'Angelo match was a tables, ladders, and scares match. So every match kind of had like a Halloween-based stipulation. This match, I felt like, honestly, could have went too long for my liking. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Chris. Fatal Influence. I said Fatal Attraction. I don't know why, but Fatal Influence. Okay. I'll be honest with y'all. This did not need to be a gauntlet match. You could have easily done Kalani Jordan versus Fallon Henley. Because to me, Fallon Henley is the leader of the trio. And I think she is, out of the three of them, she's technically the better out of the three. So you just might as well just have this be the match. And of course, going into it, you kind of know where this is going. Like, Kalani Jordan gets through Jasmine next. She gets through Keon. She gets through JC Jane, right? And of course, all is down to Fallon Henley. And just when it looks like Kalani was gonna, get the job done, that's it, we're moving on. No, there was run-ins, and of course, And of course, we have a new NXT Women's North American Champion and Fallon Henley, which I think, again, deservingly so. She's been there for a minute now, so give her something. So that's cool. Kalani's run wasn't bad. It's just, it happened. Cool. And then we had the main event. We had Trick Williams versus Ethan Page in a Devil's Playground match. I thought it was okay for the most part. You kind of knew going into this that Trick Williams was going to retain. I know there's a lot of people out there who really aren't big on Trick Williams. As far as a character goes, he has it. The charisma, the charm, he has it. It's just that when the bell rings, I'm good. That's the thing. The bell rings, is like, I'm good. And the match itself, again, it wasn't bad or anything. You just knew going into this what was going to happen. And Trick Williams retained, to no one's surprise. And then after the match, I'm like, okay, what's next? Out comes randomly Ridge Holland. Decides to run in and attack Trick Williams. He stares off with Ethan Page, who just lost. And they decide to double team Trick Williams. And then you wonder, who's going to make the save? And then it hits you, right? Because earlier in the night, they did a thing with Ridge Holland, I guess, interrupting Bubba Ray Dudley, right? Interrupting Bubba Ray Dudley, right? And Dave LaGreca from Busted Open, because they were like, the host of the show, right? So somewhere in this, right? Like, I guess after the ambulance match, there was like a thing somewhere in the crowd where obviously Dave LaGreca and Bubba were talking, and then Ridge shows up and Bubba tells him, look, you did it the first time, I let it slide. You do this, now you're doing it again. You do it one more time, we're going to have a problem. So there was a stare off. So, of course, Bubba Ray Dudley makes the save. Makes the fucking save, bro. I don't know which one is worse. JBL getting involved last Saturday at Bound for Glory. And I love JBL. Okay? Or Bubba Ray Dudley getting involved at the end. Getting involved at the end there and helping out Trick Williams. Look, there's two ways you can go about this. You could do, because I am aware that the NXT episode from the ECW arena is around the corner. Okay, I'm fully aware of all that. I'm fully aware. Okay, you could do Ridge Holland versus Bubba Ray Dudley in a one-on-one match, and that's fine, where Bubba Ray can put him over. Right? If you're gonna do it, at least put the big guy over. Okay, or you want to go the safe route here. You could end up doing Ethan Page and Ridge Holland versus Bubba Ray Dudley and Trick Williams in a tag team match. That's the two scenarios I see happening in a couple of weeks at the ECW arena. Chris writes here, 6 years ago today is the anniversary of the first ever women's pay-per-view Evolution. Wow, that's great. I forgot all about, I remember watching it. I remember people went, but man, that's crazy. It's been 6 years already. Crazy. But that was NXT as a whole. Again, I'm not saying it was bad. It's all right. It just didn't have that oomph like the other previous NXT PLEs, in my humble opinion. So there was that too. Now let's get into other stuff here. Again, if you have questions for me too, drop in your questions down below. All right. If you watch SmackDown this past Friday, they were live from the Barclays Center. They did they also did a taping because this week they're in Saudi Arabia. I think they're traveling out Thursday or some shit like that, or whatever the case may be. But SmackDown already taped, so they have already next week already in the can. This week SmackDown's already in the can, ready to just press the play button for everybody on Friday. But after Randy Orton confronted Triple H, because he did. They did a thing in the ring, right, where they talked, And Randy Orton is begging Triple H to make the match official between him and Kevin Owens. And Triple H wanted to say, look, it's not that I'm protecting Kevin Owens, I'm protecting you, that being Randy Orton, because this Kevin Owens is on a whole different level, right? But with all said and done, Randy Orton basically asked Triple H, what would the old Triple H do? Not the one that's wearing a suit, the one that's wearing, the one that showed up in leather jacket, the sledgehammer, the one that walked in, who broke into his house many years ago, right? And that's all it took. And Triple H made it convinced, he made it official, but he warned Randy Orton to not make him regret it. So it is official at Crown Jewel. It will be Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton in a one-on-one match. This probably will end up being a no contest, or maybe Kevin Owens getting the W. But we'll see how that goes. But also the big main thing on the show, that happened, two things. It was the finals of the tag team tournament, right? Between DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns. I thought it was great what they were doing back and forth, right? The near falls. Again, if you're going to have this match, what better place to do it than the Barclays Center? Because again, DIY have history in that building. DIY have history at the Barclays Center. Whether it's them as a tag team or them as rivals, there's a history of those two in that building. And the fact that you brought in the Motor City Machine Guns, which still feels it still doesn't feel real. Like the Motor City Machine Guns are in WWE. Not only that, but based on what we saw after the match went down, it's still even crazier. Okay? So obviously, the Motor City Machine Guns get the win. Yeah, there's that little thing where Johnny by accident hit Tommaso Ciampa. But again, it was by accident, right? People are now suggesting that, hey, maybe, just maybe, it's that time that they split DIY. They're teasing the split. We'll see. But the matches are as good as they were at NXT. Sign me up. That's all I'm saying. And then this led for the Bloodline to come out. The Solo Bloodline. Ugh. Right? And all this led to, I guess, the Motor City Machine Gun saying, you know what? We'll take the match right now. We're ready to go right now. So all these made the match, and they had the match, obviously. And at the beginning of the match, both Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa were dominating the Motor City Machine Guns because, again, they had a match prior. So obviously the Tongans are fresh. They're not tired. They're not exhausted. And then who happens to interfere in this match? Roman Reigns shows up, and he's brawling with Solo Sikoa. Also Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso got involved too, right? And everyone's brawling. The referee's down. And then who happens to get involved? Dressed up in disguise? Jey Uso. Jey Uso. The same Jey Uso who lost the Intercontinental Championship last Monday on Raw because of the Bloodline, because of Jacob Fatu, right? He didn't forget. Showed up, and he attacked both Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, and that helped the Motor City Machine Gun to hit their finisher. 1, 2, 3. The Motor City Machine Guns are your new WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. It still doesn't feel real to me at all. Still does not feel real at all to me. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Doesn't. But I'm happy for them. How can you not be happy for the Motor City Machine Guns, bro? These guys have been a tag team for almost 20 years. Been everywhere you can imagine. TNA, Ring of Honor, the list goes on, right? Won titles everywhere. I think also New Japan Strong as well. And now here they are. Finally, they made it to the big stage, right? The big leagues, if you will. The majors, if you will. And they achieved this. Especially in New York, right? Got the big reaction, right? Even though what happened after this made this feel like an afterthought, right? But I'm happy for them, though. I'm totally happy for the Motor City Machine Guns. winning the tag team titles. Yes, Zarya makes her debut tomorrow on NXT, and Wendy Chu Tatum Paxley in the first ever women's casket match. Oh yeah, that did happen too. Zarya made her appearance at Halloween Havoc. She was like on one of the sweet boxes and stuff. I know people are kind of weirded out about her name change. I mean, I'm not surprised at all. So then, after all this is cleared out, right? Jay's still in the ring. Jimmy makes his way. And they stare down in the ring. And what do? They hug. They embrace. The crowd went crazy. And who happened to stare at all this as it was going down? Roman Reigns. Look, I am aware of what happened. I'm not going to mention it out of respect. But I look forward to seeing what happens on SmackDown this Friday. I look forward to it. Alex writes here, Motor City Machine Gun is one of the best tag teams ever. They rule forever. For sure, brother. They rule forever. But that was SmackDown as a whole. Again, overall, I'm happy for the Motor City Machine Guns. Also, one more thing. Because of what happened in Game 7 between LA Knight, between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes, with LA Knight being the referee, it was decided because obviously LA Knight went into business for himself. He decided to say, no, you know what? I'm going to lay you both out. Because of that, at Crown Jewel, it will be a triple threat match for the U.S. Championship. Andrade versus LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes. I'll be honest with you guys. Maybe it's just me, but a part of me would not oppose a title change here. Because to me, it's like, with LA Knight now the U.S. champ, it's cool and all. Don't get me wrong. It just doesn't hit the same. Yeah, he won it. He hasn't really been in a very big, important program with the title. But a part of me would not oppose a title change this Saturday in Saudi Arabia. That's just me. Okay. Let me know what y'all think about that. Let me know your thoughts on that as well, and all that fun stuff. Also, if you guys remember, last Monday, before Raw went on the air, everyone was in shock with the news of Samantha Irvin leaving WWE. Right? Everybody was in shock about what happened. Everybody just couldn't believe it. Everybody was like, "Oh man, what happened? What led to all this? Right? How did this even become a thing? Whose fault it is, right?" And I know she posted a statement out, and I know now that Lillian Garcia is taking over, right? She's taking over as the new Raw color ring announcer, right? She took over now, right? So that's the thing now with that. And again, people were speculating on social media, what led to all this? How did this all become a thing? Right? People were, these last couple of days, were dragging, Ricochet's name through the mud. Alex writes here, Carmelo should win at Crown Jewel. He needs a major push. Could very well possibly happen, Alex. You just never know. But people were dragging Ricochet's name through the mud. People were speculating, she left to follow her husband or her fiance, whatever the case may be. I know there's reports out there that she wanted to pursue a music career, which I think is very well possible too, right? She also wants to be home with her family. She does have a daughter from a previous relationship. But people took to social media. And this is what she posted on Instagram. Well, she was replying to somebody on Instagram. This is what she responded to on Instagram. Keep this in mind. At first, I did not believe this. I thought it was photoshopped. But then you go on her Instagram, you find this. It's actually there. She actually responded to this. This is actually legit. This is what she posted. This is what she responded to somebody. This is what someone wrote to her. I can't prove it, but I know Ricochet is behind this because he couldn't stay in the big leagues. To which she responded, I don't like announcing. She then responded back with more. I'm serious. Announcing was only supposed to be my way in. I wanted to manage, maybe even become general manager one day. But the WWE saw no other future for me besides announcer. I love watching the action, but I don't love being an announcer. Which none of us, I'll be honest with y'all, I'm shocked to hear this. But at the same time, I respect your decision. Look, you could be great at one thing. Everyone can think that you are great at one thing. But it turns out that one thing that you're great at, that you're awesome in, you may not even like. It happens. It happens. I can't tell you guys, like, again, I worked in retail for almost 11 years. Almost 12 years. I'm sorry. Almost 12 years I worked in retail. All right. I've had coworkers who were great supervisors, right? Shift supervisors. They were great at it. Awesome at it. Knew how to handle customers, right? Talk to customers, customer service, all that stuff, right? But they wanted to be managers, and it was just never going to happen. And they hated what they were doing, but they did it because, hey, the pay, it's a paycheck, right? They got to feed their families. It happens. And again, people just kept dragging Ricochet's name through the mud and all this other stuff. And this is what she posted on Twitter. And quote, oh, she was at Collision, according to this. When he was at WWE, all we ever heard was that he was a jobber or he was in catering. Now he's actually paid well to put on matches he likes. He is doing great, and I'm really proud of him. Also, I went to the show last night because I do think Collision was taped. So maybe that's what she attended. And the crowd was having fun. Not everyone wants to be famous doing something they don't enjoy, which is totally understandable. Again, I go back to what I'm saying. It's totally understandable. Again, it is. That last line, not everyone wants to be famous doing something they don't enjoy. Again, we can all sit here and say how great she is as a ring announcer. Some of us, she's in our top 10 already. But when you find out that she never liked doing that, it's a shocker. But I can respect her decision at the end of the day. I wish her nothing but the best. There's a possibility that, hey, she could end up coming back. Or hell, even if she goes to AEW, who cares? Who gives a fuck? End of the day, who gives a fuck? Wherever she goes, as long as she's happy. But can we stop? Stop dragging Ricochet through the mud. Stop blaming Ricochet. Stop it. Just stop it. All right? Just saying. Just stop it. But also, since we're still on AEW here, so we're still on the topic of AEW, I don't know how many of you have been following this on social media. I don't know how many of you have been keeping an eye on this. These videos from the Costco folks. Big AJ has been challenging QT Marshall for a match at Full Gear. 0 hour, by the way, at Prudential Center, which is happening, I believe, November 23rd. That's when the day of the event. It's all he wants. He wants QT Marshall. I think they ran some angle on the independents, on the indies, where Big AJ, the Costco guy, basically interfered in a QT Marshall match. And all he wants is for QT Marshall to go to Tony Khan and to set up the match between QT Marshall and Big AJ from the Costco family, right? For Full Gear, 0 hour. Well, today AEW posted a video on their channel. They posted a video from QT Marshall signing a contract. It's official, right? But yeah, it is official, by the way. For those of you that are wondering here, it is official. It is going to go down. It is going to go down, bro. It is Big Boom AJ, who used to be a wrestler many years ago, going one-on-one with QT Marshall at the AEW Full Gear 0 Hour. Okay. I'm fine with this being on 0 Hour. I'm fine with it. Again, to my understanding, Big Boo Major used to be a pro wrestler. I think his name was Eric Justice at one back in the day. Be that as it may, I just might want to sit back because I'm likely will be there for the event because it's at Prudential Center. There's a part of me, honestly, that just gonna want to, who basically is just gonna want to watch this all play out, see what happens. Because I'm sure he'll bring the boom. Why not? I'm sure an edible will kick in, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I will say, I know CPZ said this in our group chat. I do hope they use some Costco props for this match, and I do hope so also. I really hope they use some Costco props in this match, but we'll see. But before we wrap things up here, I do want to talk about UFC 308 that went down this past Saturday from Abu Dhabi. Overall, I thought it was a fun show. Overall, everything that you could have imagined went down. There was like what? There was let me see here. There was like what? Two fights here that went to decision on the main card. Everything else was ended by knockout or by submission or knockout, basically. Bashar Magomedov knocks out Armin Petrosian in the literally 8 seconds into the second round. Brutal fucking knockout. And I know also he called out Izzy. I think he's barking up the wrong tree way too fast. But hey, I admire the guts. But then again, Izzy right now, he's kind of in a slump right now. So we'll see. We'll see. Lerone Murphy defeated Dan Ige via decision. It was a fine fight. Lerone Murphy's on the rise, so that's fine. Magomed Ankalaev defeated Alexander Ratchik via decision, and it looks like now Ankalaev is next in line for Alex Pereira. So we'll see what happens with that. We then get to the co-main event. Khamzat Chimaev, bro. Khamzat Chimaev. How good is he, bro? Going up against the former UFC middleweight champion, middleweight royalty, when you think about it, right? And Robert Whittaker. And he not only, bro, he did not let Robert Whittaker breathe. Did not let him breathe at all. Just went to him, took him down, got that choke. I know there's a picture that's online. It turns out that Khamzat broke Whittaker's jaw. Look, if he's fighting like that, I do not want to be Drake and Duplessis. Hell, I don't even want to be Sean Strickland right now. Hell no. Hell no. Not that Khamzat. Fuck no. Fuck no. With that performance, bro, if I'm a middleweight, I'm trying to go down to 170. Fuck this. But that's just me. That's my humble opinion. But good on Khamzat Chimaev. Likely he is next in line, but we'll see. We'll see. Then we got the main event. We had Ilya Topuria versus Max Holloway for the featherweight title. It's a crazy fight. Back and forth. It's like a chess match almost, right? Who's going to crack, right? Because there are moments where you thought Holloway had it, right? He was winning certain rounds, right? You could have easily given Holloway round one for sure. Giving him round one. Working the shots, working the jab. All right, there was that one little takedown from Ilya. But then obviously Holloway got back up. Just back and forth. And then we got into round three, where Ilya Topuria put more pressure, and he drops Holloway, and then he finishes him, becoming the first man to finish Max Holloway. Just crazy. But with that being said, yes, man, Ilya Topuria is him, bro. And after that, he's celebrating with Real Madrid legend Sergio Ramos. Look at that, bro. What's next for Ilya? I know after this, they brought in Alexander Volkanovski. Likely they're going to run that fight back. I mean, why not? I mean, after all, Volkanovski held the belt for a long time, so you got to give him that respect. You know what I mean? I know Diego Lopez was also in attendance. I think he was the backup fighter should something go wrong. And who knows, maybe I think for him, one more fight, but we'll see how all this goes down. But nevertheless, I thought 308 was a very fun show. Now we go on to 309, the return of John Jones. Can't wait for that one. Cannot wait for that one. But also, before I put a bow on this, just want to let you guys know that this week we will be doing also a preview for Crown Jewel. That's going to be happening also this week. Keep you posted on the day. Just again, I'll keep you posted on the day for when this goes down, but it's going to happen. Our Crown Jewel preview will be happening sometime before, obviously, Saturday, but you get the idea. All right. But that's going to be it for me here, guys. Much love to all of you guys. You guys have been awesome as always. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Share through social media. All right. Follow the Around the Point Network over on X at AT Point Network. Follow me on X at Heel Steven. Yes, I did a solo show today. I feel like I did good today. We did good. Not bad at all. Hopefully next week we get Walter back in here, maybe Chase, Romeo, who knows, Big Mike. We'll see. I think Big Mike will be joining me tomorrow for Raw Rundown. That's hopefully, we'll see. But if not, I might be doing another solo show. We'll see. But for that being said, guys, thank you all for watching. For myself, obviously, for the gang, this has been Steve's Kitchen here on the Around the Point Network. Good night, everybody.
Listen. Fuck up. Get out.